Hey, what's up? There's still a podcast. Literally, I am shocked beyond myself. It's been 7 hours. Not 7. It's going on 7 hours. It's going to be 7 hours at 3 p.m. I wanted to work out, but South Africa wants to keep my muscles soft. So do you. Okay, righto. I was speaking in the earlier part that I was listening to this interview that was politically correct by this one white okie on some news channel in the country, and upon being asked what do you think is a solution to this, made it clear that the energy minister is kind of irresponsible and the president is silly in saying that Eskom needs to get their act together. Herein lies the deal. To say, he said, these were his words, not so much verbatim, I'm paraphrasing. This man said, how in the world does Cyril Ramaphosa say that Eskom needs to get its act together, and that as a result of trying to undermine the government, they are literally just throwing the electrical infrastructure of the country under the bus? Like, do you know what this electricity crisis is doing to the whole country? It's basically decimating its economy and rendering it hollow, naught and ash. We might as well go back to the Stone Ages, where we'd never ever advance at all in anything technological. Might as well also throw out all of the food out of the refrigerators in our FMCGs and put it down the Juske River, like all those people that drowned in that ritual sacrifice of some strange pastor in this land. Might as well throw it all away, and so therefore not only impoverish but also starve your citizens on the ground just because you refuse to switch on electricity. Why, oh why would one little organization be allowed by a president of a country to do that much damage to the land? Do you see that every response of Cyril Ramaphosa and all of his band of miscreants, frankly, including the energy minister, do you not see that they are just giving an answer because they gotta give one, and so they're gonna sound like they're giving an answer, but at the end of the day there's something else that they're doing here, and you know, it's not comfortable to make it clear that there's something else that they're doing here. So in order to look like they're actually doing their job, they will say something, but that's just because words sometimes comfort people to shut up for like 2 days, and in the time that it takes to get that 2 days, whatever it is that is the other thing that they're doing will have progressed by 2 days. There is something else that Cyril Ramaphosa and his band of miscreants have agreed upon concerning our electrical infrastructure. There are so many solutions on the ground that can be put on the table. He can hook up an executive order to make the energy minister basically fix this or get out. When I was working at MTN, the marketing department was struggling. It was choking it up a storm. It was having a hard time. Everybody was doing CPR on it and nothing was happening. There was no heartbeat. It was just basically coding. And just when everybody was about to call it, because the dudes were dead now, they had to keep on replacing its executives. And these executives were all placed by the CEO of the organization on a 6-month probation, that if they don't flip the organization or the circumstances, if they don't rescue it to some kind of a lookable level within 6 months, we're going to replace you again, because we're sick and tired of flatlining. We're sick and tired of being tied to tubes. We don't want life support. We just want to live. So in the time before I got fired for no reason at all from my job, I think in about 2 years I had seen 3 marketing executives. It was quite a sorrowful time, frankly. Morale was down like no man's business. Well, that is what under heaven a president in a country ought do. That's his job. When a minister is just failing to fix something that is as dire as the apartheid crisis in the country, you must put the dude on a 6-month contract, a probation, that if you don't flip the model in a way that I can see some feasible results with some kind of percentage values that can be presented to me on a table, if I can't see it mathematically in an Excel spreadsheet that you have actually improved this by even a small margin, 2%, you're getting out. You've got 6 months, energy minister, to show me what you can do. Are you different from the last one and the last one and the last one? If I'm going to hire you and pay you a whole bunch of millions per annum to fix the situation of energy in this country, you have got to display to me that you make sense in a way that I can trace, in a way that I can quantify, in a way that I can read off an Excel spreadsheet and be like, I guess you improved the situation by 2%. That's what a responsible president ought to do. Not merely speak about how it is that you're not doing your stuff. Eskom is a parastatal, right? That's what it's called. And the energy minister is directly, basically under Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril is his boss. The president is his boss. He is responsible as the energy minister to go and have conversations with this parastatal called Eskom and tell them that Eskom, you've got 5 months to live. And if you want to enter into remission skin as a cancer patient, you will undergo this kind of chemotherapy, and if you don't do it, you die. That's what an energy minister is supposed to do. Basically promise executives at these organizations that provide energy firing if they don't so much as present a 1% improvement in 6 months. I'm not going to ask you to basically do a double-digit improvement. No, I'm not going to be that unreasonable. I will give you 6 months to improve by 1%. But instead, here it is that 17 years down the line, we've got 8-hour power cuts in one sitting. So is Cyril Ramaphosa then not supposed to fire his energy minister if he's not doing well? You get to do that as a boss. You get to do that as the board of directors of a company. It is irresponsible of you to keep on board the CEO that keeps on tanking the company, that keeps on losing money for the organization. He must be severed straight away. His job must be based on performance. He doesn't get to just stick around like a lazy call center agent collecting a salary despite not working hard on the job, because his job is important enough to basically change the direction of an organization. It can either sink the organization or keep it aloft. So since Eskom has got power to keep South Africa's economy running or not, it is literally at the heartbeat. It is a jugular vein. I can't say that enough. It is imperative enough then for the president of this country to keep on firing energy ministers every 6 months if they don't flip the model. That is what is called taking no prisoners. Taking no prisoners. You tell them fix it in 6 months or go. And it doesn't matter if you keep on getting 3, 4, 5, 10 within 1 year executives. If they fail, they gotta go. So energy minister running his entire term with the president himself that chose him when he entered into office. You don't get to blame Eskom. It's been wreaking havoc for a minute, and it has got way too much power as a energy provider, one, when there are so many other options. There is obviously something else that is very nefarious that they are doing on the side that they don't want to tell anybody about. Of course they won't. It belongs to a secret society, Freemasonry or something like that. Yeah. And so for those reasons, in order to fulfill some kind of other nefarious agenda, we have no idea what it is. They are speaking on like news platforms. Fix it, Eskom. Like they are scratching each other, or at least appearing to be scratching each other on the surface, while they deliberately ignore a crisis that I believe is a Galilean dialectic, in the sense that they are creating it on the ground in order to cause so much panic and so much catastrophe and pandemonium on the ground that when then they finally rock up in a rescuey Superman, Spider-Man state, they will then be respected for having rescued the day, which is why I believe they refuse to take counsel concerning all these other energy providers that are basically tabling their solutions on the ground. The black government does not want to get taken out of power. They are scared to get any other color president in this country other than black. For what reason, I don't understand. And for those reasons, they are prepared to let a dire strait situation run miles upon miles until the country is desperate enough to take anything at all. Anything at all. Understand that if you've been endured through a 24-hour power cut, you will suddenly find a 4-hour power cut feasible to accept every single day of your life for the rest of your existence in the country. If you have been endured through a 5-hour power cut, all of a sudden when they cut your power for 1 hour, you will find it reasonable. Except any emerging economy that indeed anticipates that it should get to any level of first world status should not be taking in their stride at all. With no weather disaster, no tsunami, no hurricane, they should not take in their stride at all, even a 1-hour power cut. But in South Africa, we are being made to think that it is better to have 2 3-hour power cuts. Sorry, to have 3 2-hour power cuts a day than to have one that is lingering for 8 hours like this. They are literally conditioning us to accept a status quo, an existence, a general like balance. What is the word that I am looking for? They want to cause an equilibrium in us of acceptance of a power cut crisis, like to create some kind of a state of being, a way that it is. We're always going to have power cuts. Take it in your stride, South Africa. But at least you're going to get to a future where you only have 2-hour power cuts every 5 days, 2 times a day, as opposed to an 8-hour power cut straight. They're conditioning us to create an equilibrium acceptance of a power cut crisis insofar as it's not so bad, and make us plan our lives around it. It is a social conditioning tactic, and it's nefarious. Next.